Hello YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. Probably making a few videos tonight. Try to be a little quieter. Maybe it's just, it's just getting late. It's about 1 in the morning. Thursday, 1 in the morning. I'm going to try to keep this particular topic a little brief, but basically I just had kind of another way of looking at this topic. It came up to me recently. It has to do with video games. But probably, for that matter, a lot of other similar kinds of entertainment, really. And you can classify video game players into a lot of different kinds of categories, of course. But there's essentially two video games players, gamers. Well, the very word gamer suggests, I think, more the first type, which are people that play games for the entertainment value of it, and that they're kind of a I don't know. There's a skill that I guess associated with playing games at a high level that they're after. Anyway, gamers. The second type of computer game player, I think, is looking for something other than just entertainment. What that would be might be anything from something educational to something more aesthetic, or something that is emotionally, they're looking at something of emotional or spiritual, or something outside of their life that maybe is very awesome, beautiful, whatever it is. So these are motivations that are not just to have fun necessarily. It's something beyond themselves. And I think it's important to realize this, that there are indeed more people playing games out there than just those that are interested in having fun. The reason I mention that is because there's still this ongoing discussion about the morality of video games, how much time should you spend playing them, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, okay. Let's be honest, it's a type of media that's like any other kind of media. And for quite some time now, video games have really stunk, for the most part. I don't know, there's probably some here and there that are okay. I'm just going to flat out say this. It's a similar kind of thing with movies, I suppose, but in some respects. But there are certain genres of video games, movies, I think, that do appeal to the lowest common denominator. And they're mindless, right? Those are definitely not the kinds of games I've always wanted to play. I wanted to, play musical games, or games that were visually striking or imaginative, fantasy, that sort of thing. But a highbrow fantasy, not necessarily always the violent kind of thing. And so, amongst maybe design games, and those are the kinds of things I wanted to play in the past, and yeah, I didn't really get much out of being in a dark area for a long time, shooting things. That was never really my thing. It's interesting when someone assumes that because someone likes video games that that's the kind of thing they like to do. It's not the case at all. There's a lot of things that live on my mind right now, but one of them is this kind of mindset that a lot of people have, that there's only one kind of gamer. And I've only mentioned two types, but that second type you can divide into a lot of other smaller types, I guess. But the first type are blockheads, basically. Your blockheads can be nice people a lot of times, but what they're after in video games is not what the second group is after. And it's very important to understand that. And the second group has been kind of alienated, largely. Unless they found stuff here and there that's actually pretty appealing, like Portal, right? Portal, I think it's called. It's not just the puzzle games, but the puzzle games often make up a good chunk of what the second group would be after. I want to say this because, you know, there are people that write music for video games. At some point, I'll get a bit more into that. And a lot of people that play them, and people that design them. And it's a worthwhile thing to do. There's no difference between video games and movies. They're both meant to be media that you buy. Can be considered recreational, but not just recreational. So to keep this kind of not too long. Again, I'm the second type of player, video game player, and okay, just to sum up another train of thought. I'm definitely the sort of person that wants to break down the way that a lot of people see things, if I think it needs some breaking down. And I don't know. I don't know how to say this. It's hard to sometimes put things in words. But there are times when I've, feel like I've been fighting an earlier generation of sorts and how they see entertainment. The TV or movies, they're no more moral. They're no better than video games. There's good media, there's bad media. Video games are no worse than TV. It's just a question of, can someone manage their time when they play video games? That's really the main question there. And if it's hard to do that, then it's time to get involved in other things. But what those other things are, depending on the person's age, it's very important to know what else you need to do, right? That you should do or want to do or moving forward in life, right? If you're just going to be more productive, right? Productive. The reason I put that in quotes is because, the thing about video games is that they should add to the second type of video game, right? You should add to your, well, they should be inspiring, right? In the maybe aesthetic way, or they should be educational. All these kinds of sort of things. If they're not, what use are they? It's purely bubblegum stuff, right? It's purely entertainment. There are people that believe that there's always just one reason to play video games. That's not true. But most video games seem to go that direction. And a lot of people don't seem to see the potential yet for video games to go this other direction, which is more positive. But then again, there's the question of time, imagine. But it's just a question of what every person needs to be about in life. I'm trying to, I hope that makes more sense to some people, but particularly people that are a little bit older folks. Regarding video games, look, arcade games are really easy to put down. That's why a lot of people seem to like them. Most of them. These long adventure games can be very hard to put down. However, some of them are a lot more, I think, in my opinion, a lot more worthwhile than shooting games that are just kind of bloody and stuff. But there's worse games. So associated with this idea, I suppose I wanted to mention this too, and that is that there's a lot of media that hasn't been explored yet regarding instruction in schools, even colleges, that would make learning, I wouldn't say easier, but it would make it more, maybe higher quality is the best way of putting it. Higher quality. If you see a really well done, really well made movie about Civil War or Revolutionary War, there's all kinds of things in that movie that are more real. People watching that class that watching that movie. This is why when I was younger, I would see sometimes here and there movies about these things. With video games, it's no different. In some respects, it even tends to stick a little bit more. For instance, there's a game that I've had or played in the past about the Civil War and about battles in the Civil War. Right? But it's all historically based. It's all, you're just reenacting it. You have different types of troops, and you learn about what these kinds of troops are back in Civil War. This is definitely not World War One. Even this is back in the time when you had, old-fashioned rifles and I don't know, probably it's after muskets, but it's the old-fashioned rifle with the bayonet, right? And you had old cannons, gunpowder, it's different, right? The cavalry actually were horses. Right? They would scout out where the enemies were and their telescopes, or just the onset of ironclad ships. That kind of stuff actually is great, and it's as long as it's not overdone. It's just that there's all kinds of other kinds of games I can mention here, but it's just I think there's all kinds of ways to have knowledge stick a little bit more from an educational standpoint. And from an aesthetic standpoint, there's all kinds of things that haven't been done yet in the arts that involve video games. So I definitely am open up to all those things. And there you go. All right, leave me your questions or thoughts in the comments below. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.